Is it? Oh my god, wait. I'm so like, I feel like I've never done this before. I hope we're Christmassy enough. Are we Christmassy enough? I need to make sure I'm looking at the actual camera and not the viewfinder. Guys, this is insane. I can't tell. Because I want you guys to see my horns. This is so exciting. Look at my mug too. Hello everyone, welcome back to my booktube channel. I can't tell yet, obviously, because I'm filming this video, not editing it, but you may notice a quality difference. I finally got my camera. It actually came like 6 days early. It was supposed to come on the 10th. Today's the 10th. I got it like a few days ago, so slay me. That's disclaimer number one. Disclaimer number two is I'm hanging out with my best friend in a little bit. Like, we're actually going somewhere to hang out, but I didn't realize that she was going to be coming to my home so early. So while I'm filming, she might walk in, but who cares? That's my disclaimers for the video. We're done now. Now we can actually start. Today's video is going to be part 2 of our end of year videos. I told you guys in last week's video that every single week this month is going to be like an end of year themed video, and I was going to try to dress Christmassy for all of them, so I hope I'm succeeding. I'm actually going to be filming a video on Christmas Eve. The lighting might be a little messed up because I'm gonna have to film it in the evening because I work Christmas Eve, probably because I don't work Christmas Day. We're just gonna assume that I'm working Christmas Eve. Now I can like be on my phone. This is what my phone looks like, guys. Now that I'm not filming on it. This is a little magnet. Anyway, this week's video is going to be all of my 5 stars that I've had this year. I've read 40 books this year. I've completed 40 books this year. I actually just finished a book a few days ago. If you follow me on TikTok, you'll know what book I'm talking about. And I'm currently reading another one. But as of right now, I've read 40 books this year. And I didn't realize this until I was going through everything. I've only had five stars this year. Like five stars that like have been 5 stars since I read them. I'm trying to like steer away from this now, but when I first read a book, I'm like, oh my god, I love it, and I give it a rating as soon as I finish it. And then as time moves on and I think about it more, or I don't think about it at all, I'm just like, that book might not have been the rating that I initially thought it was. And that happens quite frequently with my 5 stars. So there's a couple books that were originally 5 stars that I brought down lower. It has resulted to, at this date and time, December 10th, 10:58 a.m., I've only had 5 stars in the entire year that have been like stayed consistently 5 stars or like moved up to 5 stars. So we're only going to be talking about 5 books. So hopefully the video won't be too long because I know last week's video was a little lengthy, but it was 15 books I was talking about. Like, cut me some slack here. You can't tell me this isn't the cutest mug you've ever seen. We're going to be talking about all my 5 stars, and we're going to go in order from when I read them to my most recent 5 star. So I believe my first 5 star that has been a 5 star since I read it, or like now in this date and time, I still consider it 5 stars, or I consider it to be 5 stars, was in April. And if you remember, or if you watched any of my other videos, you know that I only read 2 books in April. The first 5 star that I had in the year was Beautiful Fiend by Lola King. This is the first book in the North Shore series by her. Now, since I've spoken about a lot of these books in last week's video, I actually gave you guys like summaries of all of them. I'm not going to tell you too much about each of them. I'm more so going to give you like the feelings that I had while I was reading these books and why I rated them 5 stars, just because that's kind of the point of the video. So Beautiful Fiend, like I said in last week's video, this book was a 5 star as soon as I finished it. Before I even finished it, I was like, I know that this book is 5 stars. It reminds me so much of God of Malice by Rena Kent, and God of Malice by Rena Kent, which is the first book in the Legacy of God series, is one of my favorite books of all time. That was another book that as I was reading it, I got feelings. I like had such a visceral reaction to that book that before I even finished it, I was like, I know this book is 5 stars because no other book has made me feel like this. And I felt the same way when reading this. Our MMC Caden actually reminds me a lot of Killian Carson, who is the MMC in God of Malice. So that was a plus. This was one of those books that I knew it was going to be 5 stars right away, and it actually stayed 5 stars. Because like I said, sometimes I'll rate things super high and then end up changing it because I'm just like, you know, I don't really consider this to still be 5 stars. My taste has changed. Like, if this book is 5 stars, there's no way that this book can be 5 stars. I do think there's different levels to a 5 star, but this book was just, she was 5 stars from before I even finished it. I knew this was gonna be a favorite, and I actually haven't read the rest of the series yet. I read the first two and I haven't finished the rest of them. I don't think the last two are going to live up to the first two for me, because the second book was also 5 stars. This one, however, was like a sneaky 5 star. She snuck up on me. When I first read it, I think I rated it like 4.5 to 4.75 stars. And then I found myself thinking about, especially the last, I want to say like maybe 35 to 40% of the book all the time. I was like, I actually really love these characters, especially our FMC. She's probably one of my favorite FMCs that I've ever read about. Really like started to grow more and more in love with the characters and with the plot of this book, that I was like, I think I actually like this book more than Beautiful Fiend. And that says a lot, considering this book was a 5 star as soon as I put it down. The fact that this book, I might actually like it more, was surprising to me. But I let it rock, and then, you know, like I said, I continued to think about it. And ultimately I was just like, you know what? This book is a 5 star, because I would go back and read this book. And I also know that these characters show up in Lola King's other series, Silver Falls University. And I'm so incredibly excited to see these characters again. Like, I would reread this book. It was so good. I just love these characters so much. Zai and Alexandra were actually everything to me. I loved them. They were so cute, but also like, this is dark romance. Like, don't get it twisted. These books are incredibly dark. But this one was at least a little bit more on the cutesy side, considering Alexandra's like, looking at this, it's just like, you know, she loves Pink, she loves Taylor Swift, she loves just like living her life and hanging out with her friends. She's in a sorority, like, she's that kind of girl. So I ended up loving this book so much more than I originally thought I did. So like I said, yeah, sneaky 5 stars. She was so good. And I read both of these books really quickly. I'm pretty sure I read Beautiful Fiend in like 24 hours. And these chapters are long. The book itself might not seem that long, but the chapters are long, so it feels like the book is long. This one, I think it took me like 2 days to read, but I was still like in it. Mainly because I was still in college at the time, so I couldn't read as frequently as I wanted to. Both of these were 5 stars. These were the only 2 books that I read in April. I went straight from the first one into the second one, and then I took a pause, and I have yet to unpause. But these are my first 2 5 stars of the year. And then I didn't have another 5 star until, let me see, because like I have all my 5 stars written down, but I also have like the months in which I read them. July. The next book that was 5 stars is For the Fans by Nyla K. I read this book in July and I love it. If you like God of Fury by Rena Kent, which is a dark romance, you would like this. This is not dark romance at all. It's a contemporary romance. But if you like God of Fury, I feel like you would like this book. It gives very similar vibes. The plots are different completely, but actually there is a lot of overlap between the 2 books, not gonna lie. This book was another 5 star that I knew was gonna be 5 stars before I was even done with it, because I was so obsessed with these characters and with this plot. I felt so hard for Kyron and Avi. I loved them, and I still do. I still think about them, and I'm gonna eventually continue my reread of this book. I got up to chapter 13 and then I stopped because I was listening to the audio, and I will go back to it, I promise. But this is one of those books, like I also said with Beautiful Fiend, that I knew was gonna be 5 stars before I was even done with it. You could not pay me to put this book down. And this book is quite long. This book is like over 500 pages. And I could have read another 1,000 pages about these characters. I just loved them so much. I just love how hard they fell for each other. Because, oh, these 2 were like, I wouldn't say enemies, but you get into like why they had these feelings for each other in the book. But let's just say they did not like each other at all, especially Kyron. Kyron hated Avi's guts. And I just love the way that their relationship progressed because these two, oh my god, they were made for each other. They are so opposites attract that it's just, they're so opposite but also so incredibly meant for each other that like you could not tell me that these characters should have ended up with somebody different. No chance. This is also an incredibly spicy book, not gonna lie. For a contemporary romance, it's probably one of the spiciest books I've ever read, but it wasn't the kind of spice that like took me away from the plot. I feel like for certain books, especially when it comes to like romances or even FF romances, I haven't read too many of those. I need to like look into that more. There's certain aspects of the spice that make it so essential to the plot and to how the relationship progresses. And also with the overall plot of this book, it kind of makes sense that it would be as spicy as it is because, hello, look at the cover. We can assume what the book is actually about with the name and everything. We can assume what the book is going to be about. But even still, it just like, usually with tons and tons and tons of spice, it starts to feel unnecessary and like kind of over the top, and I start to like skip over it and stuff like that. But with this, I was locked in. I was locked in for all 500 pages. It was just so good. I need to keep rereading this. I'm gonna do that soon. I think December usually is my month of rereads because it's the last month of the year. So I'm probably gonna reread this book or continue rereading it, as well as do my reread of God of Fury because I plan on doing that every year until the day that I die, because that is one of my favorite books of all time. I love God of Fury. And like I said, if you like that book, I think you would like this one. The characters feel reminiscent of each other. They're not exact replicas by any means, but they feel very similar to each other. Oh, my best friend's here.
That's all I get, a good, and you keep on walking.
I just want to see what she's doing.
I'm filming.
My last day of class.
Oh, yeah?
My tea is cold. There might be a little bit more background noise now because now my mom and my best friend are talking. But anyway, yeah, that's for the fans. I don't remember where I left off with that, but we're gonna stop talking about it because I feel like I've spoken about it a lot. It's just one of my faves. And go read it. It was 5 stars. Anyway, next 5 star. This book is another book that became a 5 star. Not while I was reading it, but like I sat on it a little bit longer, and like even after I finished the whole series, I was just like, this book actually means way more to me than it originally did, because this is where my love for this series really solidified. Oh wait, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're gonna talk about this book after because it's my most recent 5 star. Pause on that. This book, the next book I'm gonna talk to you guys about, is another book that I had a feeling was gonna be 5 stars before I started reading it, just because I had seen so many edits and like snippets of this book like floating around on social media, and I was just like, I think this book is going to be my favorite. Also from like the crumbs that I got of this couple from the first few books in the series, I was like, I think they're going to be my favorite, and they were. It's Hat Trick by Chelsea Curto. I knew this shit was going to be 5 stars. And it actually was 5 stars, because a lot of the times I go into books thinking that they're going to be 5 stars and they're not for me, and vice versa. There's a lot of times that I'm like, I don't think I'm going to like this, and I end up liking it way more than I initially thought I was going to. This book was like a perfect example of the former. I knew I was going to like this book. I really wanted it to be 5 stars, and it was. It lived up to my expectations. These characters, oh my god. I loved them originally from the rest of DC Stars. This is the 4th book in the DC Stars series. I loved the little snippets of the characters that we had seen of them individually. Like, I loved Lexi. She seemed like such a baddie queen. And I loved Riley. He seemed like such, he's just like the little, he's not little. He's a fully grown man. But he is one of the younger guys on the hockey team. He is one of the younger guys on the DC Stars. So just, he always was very like, so baby girl, but also like he could be a little spicy if he wanted to be. That's the best way that I could describe him. I don't really know how to describe him other than that, because he was so sweet and so nice. He had the fattest fucking crush on Lexi for years, and would get like, there would be scenes in the other books where like Lexi would walk into the room and people would catch him blushing or like catch him staring at her and stuff like that. Like, I loved that. And then they finally got their moment Lexi finally got to fully grasp like the intensity and the severity of his crush on her, because she always thought that it was like surface level because they didn't know each other as well as like they ended up knowing each other. But I love the way that they ended up caring about each other, especially the way that she ended up caring about him, because throughout the entire rest of the series, Lexi is seen as like this, she's like a lone wolf. She's very much like tapped into her sexuality. She doesn't mind having casual relationships if she wants. She's like, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm an independent baddie queen. And I just love the way that she ended up caring about Riley because of the situation that they were put in, the scenario that kind of forced the two of them together. She fell so hard for him. I love how much she ended up caring about him. She did so much for him because she wanted to, not even because she felt like she had to. She just knew the kind of guy he was, knew that he was such a sweet person, and ended up just growing so much closer to him. It was like, I want to do this for you. I want to be here for you in this capacity. Oh, I loved them. I loved them. Oh my god, I love Riley too, don't get me wrong. They are my favorites. And I don't think they'll be topped. I am very excited for the next book. That next book actually came out a couple days ago, and you best believe I will be reading it. But I don't think anyone's gonna beat Riley and Lexi. Okay, unpausing. Last but not least, like I said before, this book became a 5-star very recently because I was just like I said, this is where my obsession for this series really started to solidify, and then everything after this was kind of just like I was in it. Voracious by Lee Rivers. Now, I still stand by the fact that Insatiable was 4 stars. Maybe even a 4.5, I might bump it up to there, but it was not 5 stars. A lot of people were rating Insatiable, or the first book in the Edge of Darkness trilogy, 5 stars right off the bat. It wasn't that for me. It was, like I said, 4 to 4.5 stars. This book, however, I originally rated 4.5 because I was just like, I loved this book so much more than the first one. But then I started thinking about it more, and I was just like, the moments I think about the most happened in this book. Now, don't get me wrong. Restitution is still my fucking favorite. Don't get it twisted. There's certain moments in that book that I still think about to this very day. But the ending of this book had me fucking gagged. Like I said, most of the crazy shit that I think about on a daily fucking basis about this trilogy happened in this book. This book was so fucking good. We're not doing that, actually. I did that in last week's video too. I almost like opened it up and started flipping through it. Never am I doing that again. This series has given me such terrible PTSD. But anyway, this is the second book in the Edge of Darkness trilogy. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I've spoken everyone's fucking head off about this trilogy, so we're done talking about it. But I just wanted to tell you guys that like this book is now 5 stars, and I love it so fucking much. It was so good. My emotional attachment, how much I was invested and engaged in the story, really solidified right here. Right here is where I was like, I am with these characters until the fucking end. Everything that's happening to them, it feels like it's happening to me. That's where I was at reading this book. This book was phenomenal. Yeah, we're not going to talk about it too much because, like I said, I've talked everyone's fucking head off about the Edge of Darkness trilogy, so we're done. And we are done. Like, fully done. That is the last book that we're going to talk about. I've filmed for just about 30 minutes, which is actually pretty good. So, slay me. So, here are all my 5 stars for the year. I definitely thought it was going to be way more than this, but then I started thinking about things more, and I was preparing for this video, and I was like, wait, there actually isn't a lot at all. And they're kind of sprinkled randomly throughout the year. So I guess that's kind of a good thing. I wouldn't say I'm picky, but I'm definitely not like, I'm not just gonna give anything a 5 star. 5 star is like a very visceral reaction from me. And all of these books had some form of visceral reaction, whether it was like super happy all the time, or like what the fuck is going on, or like I'm gonna fucking die with these characters, I love them so much. Like, all of these have very strong reactions from me. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope the camera quality is substantially better. I'm so happy. This feels like such a milestone for me to have this camera and be filming on a camera. Like my little babies, I love you all so much. I'm so happy. And like I said, this feels like such a milestone. Like, homie has a camera. She's professional. I don't know anything about cameras, so I'm gonna try to figure out the settings and stuff like that as much as I can, but also don't expect me to know everything because I actually know nothing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know your 5 stars for the year. I feel like hopefully everybody had more 5 stars than me, even though having a 5 star is a privilege. Hopefully everyone had at least one 5 star this year and was able to feel that 5 star feeling. I love you guys so much. Like, this is one of my favorite things to do ever, is sitting down and filming these videos for you guys. I look forward to it every Wednesday because that's when I film. And I hope you guys have an amazing day or night or afternoon or whatever time of day it is where you are. For me right now, it is 11:25 a.m. I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you all so much.